Beloved, this is not a coincidence. Heaven appointed this exact moment, and I need your full attention. Stop scrolling. Still your spirit. This is a divine interruption, and I, Archangel Michael, have not come to speak lightly. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That strange stirring in your spirit, the restlessness in your sleep, the way certain memories have resurfaced. You've tried to push it aside, but something deep inside keeps whispering, "Pay attention." That whisper was not anxiety. That whisper was not your imagination. That whisper was heaven preparing you. And this message? It's confirmation. You were guided here, not by the algorithm of man, but by the alignment of God, because something is coming, a shift, a revelation, a moment that will test what you've been carrying and uncover what's been hidden. I do not speak unless heaven commands, and heaven has spoken. Isaiah 41:10 declares, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This is not just scripture, it is a seal over your life. A promise you didn't even know you would need so urgently. You may not know it yet, but a spiritual shift is already unfolding around you. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but it is real. There is something or someone that will soon bring news to your doorstep. It may come in the form of a message, a letter, a conversation, or a moment of sudden truth. And when it does, your heart must already be prepared. This message is not here to scare you. It is here to cover you before the moment arrives. You are being pre-protected. That's how much heaven loves you. You may have felt like things were quiet, too quiet. But silence is not absence, it is setup. Heaven has been arranging things behind the veil. And I, Michael, have been assigned to this moment to whisper, "Get ready. You are not alone." Yes, I know. You've been feeling the weight. You've been praying, crying, asking for clarity. You've been wondering if the heaviness is spiritual or emotional, if the dreams meant anything, if the stillness was warning or comfort. And I say to you, it was both. Because what you call silence, heaven calls a strategy. God has not been ignoring you. He's been building a fortress around you, shielding your name, sealing your home, and sending me ahead of time so that when this heartbreak tries to walk through your front door, it meets divine resistance. What's coming will shake the surface, but it will not shake your soul. Because now, you are being sealed in knowing there is someone, yes, someone you once trusted, who is being stirred to speak or move. And you will soon know why your heart ached the way it did, why things didn't make sense, why the silence hurt more than words. But child, do not fear what's about to be exposed, for nothing revealed by heaven is ever meant to destroy you. It is meant to deliver you. That pain that's been sitting at the edge of your chest, it's been waiting for this message. It's been waiting for permission to let go. And now, heaven says, you can release it. The ache is real, but so is the protection. And that's why this moment matters. I was sent to tell you this in advance, not after the fact, so that when the moment comes, you will not collapse, you will stand. So that when the message arrives, you will not shatter, you will understand. So that when the truth is spoken, you will not beg, you will bless, and you will remember. This is not random. Heaven told me this was coming. Do not let the enemy trick you into thinking you were unprepared. God is always ahead. And you, beloved, are being kept ahead of what could have broken you if you were caught unaware. You are being guarded forward, That's what divine protection looks like. So breathe now. Feel your shoulders begin to soften. Feel your spirit begin to steady. Because what's coming cannot take what heaven has already sealed. You were not left behind. You were set apart. You were not overlooked. You were hidden for protection. You were not late to the message. You were right on time for the divine alert. The shift is not future, it's present. The message is not general, it's specific. To you, to your heart, to your story. And now that you're here, now that your soul is still enough to receive heaven, can begin to unfold what it has long waited to reveal. So do not fear the next part. Do not fear the exposure. Do not fear the letter, the voice, the conversation, or the confrontation. Because you are already covered. You didn't miss your chance to heal. You didn't miss the moment to be protected. You didn't miss the divine appointment. You're in it right now. This is it. This is that moment. The battle was coming, but God sent protection first. The heartbreak was approaching, but heaven placed a shield at your door. And that shield is not made of metal. It is made of knowing, of prophetic preparation, of divine presence. This message is not just comfort, it is covering. And now that you've received it, the storm will no longer feel like a threat. It will feel like a passage, because the truth is, you are not walking into danger, you are walking into clarity, and clarity will heal you faster than apology ever could. Now breathe, take one final moment of stillness, and when the next message arrives, when the next part unfolds, your spirit will be ready, because heaven didn't wait until you broke to speak. It spoke before it happened, to remind you, you are seen, you are chosen, you are protected. Now that you're listening, heaven will begin to reveal. Before we go further, seal this word by writing "Healing is mine" in the comments. Let heaven see your agreement and your miracle begin. Not everything attacking you is visible, but heaven sees it. Heaven has been watching the war behind your weariness, the fog in your mind, the delay in your steps, the betrayal that didn't make sense, the deep, silent fatigue you couldn't name. Child, you are not imagining it. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is warfare, and the attack has been spiritual. You've been walking through battles that didn't start in your schedule or your relationships. They started in the spirit, and while the world sees you struggling to keep up, heaven sees what's been trying to pull you down. There are some attacks that don't look like explosions. They look like silence, like missed opportunities, like constant confusion, no matter how hard you pray. Like people walking away without explanation, like spiritual delay so heavy it starts to feel like defeat. But I, Archangel Michael, have come to tell you, this is not defeat. This is targeting. The enemy has studied your assignment. He has watched your calling. He has tracked your resilience. And he is afraid of what happens when you get free. That's why you've been under pressure. That's why the warfare increased the moment you started seeking clarity. That's why every time you tried to rise, something unseen seemed to push back. But I need you to hear this, and hear it with authority. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you are chosen. The heaviness you've been carrying is not a personal flaw, it is a spiritual reaction. A response from the kingdom of darkness to the light inside of you that is starting to break through. And I have been standing guard. Yes, even while you slept, even on the nights you cried yourself to sleep, thinking no one saw your pain, even in the moments you whispered prayers so faint you barely believed them yourself. I was there, sword drawn, wings stretched, assigned by heaven to shield what the enemy couldn't reach. You didn't see how close the enemy got, but I did. You didn't see the traps that were set in front of you, but I did, and I removed them before your feet could fall. That coincidence that saved you? It was divine strategy. That delayed meeting? It was heaven's way of slowing you down to protect you. That unexpected no? It was God blocking what would have wounded you deeper. The emotional weight you've been carrying, yes, that weariness is not just about tiredness, it's about sabotage. The kind the enemy launches in silence. The kind that makes you question your worth, your calling, your voice. The kind that tries to make you forget who you are. But let me remind you, 2 Thessalonians 3:3 says, "But the Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one." The Lord is faithful, even when the enemy surrounds, even when it feels like nothing is changing, even when it seems like the battle is silent but suffocating. He is faithful, and I have been assigned to enforce that faithfulness on your behalf. You are not being overlooked, you are being defended. Even now, there are things being broken off your life that you haven't seen yet. Chains in the spirit that are falling because of prayers you barely got out. The enemy tried to delay your destiny. He tried to cloud your discernment. He whispered lies into your tiredness. That dream is dead. That relationship will never be healed. You've missed your chance. You're not strong enough. But here is heaven's truth. The enemy is panicking because your breakthrough is getting closer, because the things you were once afraid to confront are now being exposed, because you're starting to ask different questions. You're starting to seek peace over performance. You're starting to say, "God, show me what's really happening." And the moment you pray that, the veil starts to tear. That's why things feel like they're shaking, because the enemy is losing grip, and you are gaining ground. Do not be afraid of what you feel rising inside you. That fire, that alertness, that resistance to repeating old cycles. It's not pride. It's the Holy Spirit waking up your discernment again. There is protection being released in your direction, and it may not look like what you expect. It may look like a closed door, but it's a rescue. It may look like someone walking away, but it's divine release. It may look like silence, but it's the sound of heaven rearranging the battlefield. So do not panic. Heaven is not behind schedule. Heaven is preparing your strategy. And I am standing between you and every attack that thinks it can touch you. You are not just being protected, you are being realigned. The ground may be shaking, but it is not collapsing. It is being broken to reveal the roots. So take this moment and say it with me. I am not under attack because I'm weak. I'm under attack because I carry glory. I will not give in to fear. The Lord is strengthening and protecting me. Say it again until your spirit begins to believe it. Write it in the comments if you're ready to declare it aloud. I am covered. I am chosen. I am not afraid. Let heaven hear your agreement. And now, beloved, I speak peace over your mind. Where confusion tried to cloud, clarity will now rest. Where betrayal tried to break you, discernment will now sharpen you. Where fatigue tried to crush your spirit, new strength is being infused. Your breakthrough is not delayed. It's simply being protected from contamination. So lift your eyes. Feel the presence of angelic guards surrounding you now. This isn't the end of your story. It's the clearing of the battlefield before your next assignment. Because what's coming next is holy. And holiness always requires the removal of the counterfeit first. Let go of the fear. Let go of the lie that this battle means failure. You are not being buried. You are being built. You are not under attack, you are under construction. And when the enemy tries again, he will find the gates of your life guarded. He will find your discernment awakened. He will find that you are not alone. Because I, Michael, will be there. And next, beloved, you will see why the breaking was necessary. Because it wasn't destruction. It was the first stage of surrender. And in surrender comes healing. Let your heart stay open. The revelation is just beginning. This may feel like a breaking, but heaven does not see it that way. Heaven sees it as surrender. Not weakness, not failure, not the end, but the moment you finally let go and fall into the hands that have been waiting to catch you all along. Beloved, listen to me. I know you've been holding everything together for too long, smiling when your heart was aching, showing up for others while silently falling apart inside, trying to pray even when your spirit felt numb. And now, something inside you feels like it's cracking. But this is not your collapse. This is your release. Isaiah 41:10 speaks directly to you in this moment. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You are not falling into failure. You are not falling into despair. You are falling into God's hands. And His hands do not drop what they catch. I, Archangel Michael, have been watching over you, even in the moments you thought no one saw you, even in the late hours when your heart was too heavy for words, even when you questioned, why do I feel like this? I stood near. A sign to your soul, because heaven never abandons the weary, it surrounds them. And now I need to say this clearly. Your emotional collapse is not spiritual failure. What you're feeling is not weakness, it's the weight of long-held sorrow finally surfacing to be healed. This breaking is not punishment. It's permission. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to stop holding everything alone. Permission to exhale and say, God, I can't carry this anymore. And God responds, good, you were never meant to. You are not weak for needing help. You are not failing because you can't keep pretending to be strong. You are wise for running to God. You are safe because you are surrendering. And surrender is not defeat, it's protection. There are some things that only loosen their grip when you finally let yourself unravel. Some healing that only flows when your heart cracks open enough to receive. And that's what is happening now. The breaking is making room for the healing. I speak now into your spiraling thoughts, the racing mind, the questions, the guilt, the fear, the what's wrong with me, the why can't I fix this, the God, am I too much? Beloved, you are not too much. You are not broken beyond repair. You are simply tired, and heaven understands that. Let me whisper this into your soul. You are not falling apart. You are falling into His hands. You are not drowning. You are being gently lowered into the safest place you've ever known. Not the arms of people, not the comfort of outcomes, but the arms of God Himself. And His arms are steady. His arms are wide. His arms do not require performance, only presence. You've done enough. You've tried enough. You've pushed long enough. Now it's time to let go so heaven can begin what you could never finish on your own. Your vulnerability is not a liability. It is your access point. It is where comfort begins. Because God does not pour healing into armor. He pours healing into the open places. so let it open. The tears that surprise you in quiet moments, let them fall. The ache in your chest when you remember what was lost, let it rise. The fatigue in your bones when you wake up still exhausted, let it be named. God can only touch what you let Him see. And even though He already knows, He waits for your surrender. Not because He needs your permission, but because you need to know you are safe here. Even at your weakest, let this be the moment where you stop fighting yourself. Let this be the moment where you fall fully into grace. Say this with me, softly or aloud, as you're able. I am not falling apart. I am falling into His hands. Say it again. Say it until the panic softens. Say it until the shame fades. Say it until your breath steadies. Say it until your soul begins to believe it. And I, Michael, will echo those words in the spirit realm. I will declare them over your home, over your mind, over the deepest part of your inner life. Because what is happening now is not destruction. It is divine transition, a holy shift, from striving to resting, from pretending to receiving, from performing to being held. You are not being punished by this breaking. You are being protected through it. You are being reset. And the version of you that rises after this moment will walk in gentler power, will love yourself more tenderly, will not try to prove your worth again, will not measure your value by how well you hold things together. You are held. That's the truth. You are always held, even when you can't feel it, even when the room is quiet, even when no one reaches out. Heaven does not forget the ones who are collapsing inward. And right now, heaven is rushing to you with peace, with covering, with comfort, with presence so near, you will feel it in your very breath. So take that breath now. Let your body soften. Let your soul remember. This is what it means to be kept, not because you earned it, not because you never struggled, but because you are His. And He has never let a single child fall into emptiness, only into mercy. You were never expected to carry it all. You were only expected to bring it to Him. And now you have. So rest. Let your collapse become your connection. Let your letting go become your lifting up. Let your surrender become your safety. You are not falling apart. You are falling into God's hands. And there, healing will begin. Let your heart stay open. Because next, heaven will reveal why it allowed the heartbreak in the first place. Not to break you, but to position you for what's coming. This was not abandonment. It was alignment. What broke you wasn't a mistake, it was a move of heaven. And I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to speak clarity over the silence, so you no longer confuse heartbreak with rejection. Because heaven never rejected you. It protected you. You've asked why. Why did they walk away? Why did they lie? Why did they never come back? Why did someone you loved treat your heart like it was disposable? The questions have echoed inside you for too long, haven't they? And now heaven is answering not with cold logic, but with divine understanding. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Even the pain, even the silence, even the goodbye that never made sense. What hurt you was allowed, not because God wanted you to suffer, but because He knew your future couldn't carry their confusion. They weren't removed because they were beyond saving. They were removed because they refused to surrender. They refused to grow. And your path requires someone who walks in truth, not someone who hides behind it. They were given time. They were given warning. Heaven whispered to them in dreams, in conversations, in inner conviction, but they didn't listen. And when they ignored the gentle hand of grace, heaven intervened with separation. Child, I need you to know this. Your heartbreak was not your fault. It was heaven's mercy disguised in sorrow. You cried out for answers in the midnight hours. You begged for peace when your chest felt like it was being ripped in half. You said, God, just show me the truth. And this moment, this message is heaven's response. The truth is, if they had stayed, you would have been delayed. If they had returned, the cycle would have repeated. If they had apologized without repentance, you would have trusted a wound disguised as love. But God saw what you couldn't. He saw the conversations they had behind closed doors. He saw the duplicity, the pride, the unwillingness to heal. He saw how their unresolved pain would have eventually infected your purpose. And so, He allowed it to break, not to destroy you, but to deliver you. Because sometimes protection comes disguised as heartbreak, and sometimes divine strategy feels like abandonment until your eyes are clear enough to see the hand of God in what walked away. I stood beside you when the silence settled in. I stood over your home the night you whispered, I can't do this anymore. I carried your tears to the throne, and heaven recorded every one. You are not cursed. You are not unlovable. You are not forgotten. You are covered by wisdom that sees further than your heart can, covered by love that disciplines as much as it defends, covered by a Father who would rather allow your heart to break once than watch it be slowly destroyed by false peace over and over again. Let me speak this plainly. The reason they disappeared is because their presence would have poisoned what God is building in you. Their confusion would have become your chaos. Their fear would have drowned your faith. So heaven drew the line, and I know it hurt. I know the goodbye felt cruel. I know it seemed like the story was unfinished. But the story isn't over. It's just been rewritten without them on the last page. You are not mourning a blessing. You are releasing a burden. You are not grieving a holy connection. You are healing from a false covenant. And it's okay to feel both sadness and relief. It's okay to miss what broke you. It's okay to still want answers. But do not let unanswered questions hold you hostage. Because the answer is this: they were not assigned to your next chapter. And heaven knew that long before you did. Now the grief must become growth. Now the tears must water the healing that's rising from within you. There is no shame in loving someone who wasn't ready to love you back. There is no regret in giving your heart with honesty. There is only wisdom gained. You trusted them. You prayed for them. You gave grace. But when someone cannot receive what is pure, their rejection becomes protection in the hands of God. Let me say this again. You're not cursed. You're not being punished. You were preserved. Heaven heard the things they said behind your back. Heaven saw the ways they used your kindness as a cover. Heaven waited for their repentance. But when it never came, heaven sent release. So yes, the heartbreak was allowed. But it was holy, and it's leading you somewhere better than what you lost. You are not meant to question your worth just because someone didn't recognize it. You are not meant to shrink just because someone couldn't handle your light. You are not meant to carry their silence as proof that you failed. You were faithful. You were real. You were ready, but they weren't. And now heaven is shifting your story. This pain is not permanent. It's an intersection, and the road you're stepping onto now is guarded by me. You are being escorted away from false attachments and toward divine alignment. So breathe, beloved. Breathe again. Lift your head, wipe your face, and say this. This wasn't abandonment. This was alignment. Heaven allowed what broke me to save me. Say it until your heart believes it. Say it until your tears dry with purpose. Say it until the lie of rejection can't speak anymore. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are being positioned. You are being prepared. The heartbreak was heaven's yes to something higher. And now that you've heard the why, now that heaven has whispered clarity into your ache, you're ready. Because what's next will require your whole heart. And God had to clear what would have confused you. Let your heart stay open. Because now heaven wants to show you what's next. You believed their silence meant you weren't worthy. You thought the way they disappeared, ignored, or dismissed you was evidence that something must be wrong with you. But that was a lie from hell. And I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to expose it. Because the enemy has been whispering to you in your most tender moments. Not shouting, whispering. Not in storms, but in the quiet spaces where you questioned your reflection, your value, your voice. And those whispers were never yours. They were not heaven's. They were lies, carefully designed to keep you small, hidden, and confused. John 8:44 says this of the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. The enemy has lied to you. He said you were too much. He said you were not enough. He said your kindness was weakness. He said your voice was annoying. He said your love was burdensome. He said your gifts were irrelevant. He said your calling was imaginary. He twisted their silence into shame. He turned their betrayal into guilt. And he convinced you to carry burdens that were never yours to hold. But now heaven is interrupting that narrative, because it ends here. The shame, the guilt, the unworthiness, it wasn't truth. It was targeted warfare. It was the strategy of darkness to silence a soul that was meant to shine. Child, I need you to hear this from me directly. You were not abandoned. You were hidden. You were not forgotten. You were being shielded. You were not rejected because you were unlovable. You were removed from the reach of people who did not yet know how to love rightly. Heaven did not place you on the sidelines. Heaven placed you in safekeeping, because the season of your unveiling was not yet ready. Because if they had access to you too soon, they would have mishandled what was holy. You, beloved, are holy ground, and not everyone is ready to stand on that. Let me speak what the enemy tried to cover up. You are worthy. You are chosen. You are radiant. You are not too sensitive. You are spiritually tuned. You are not too broken. You are beautifully rebuilt. You are not too late. You are right on heaven's time. I have watched you believe the wrong story for far too long. I have stood over you as you tried to edit yourself into someone more palatable. I have seen you shrink so you wouldn't be left. I have seen you doubt your voice because they didn't know how to listen. But child, this is your unmasking moment. This is when the lie lifts. This is when you stop agreeing with pain. Because every time you said, maybe I was the problem, maybe I wasn't good enough, maybe I deserved it, those were false agreements. And heaven is here to help you break every single one. Say this with me now. I break agreement with every lie the enemy spoke over my identity. I am not who pain said I was. I am who heaven says I am. I am loved. I am called. I am seen. I am safe. Say it out loud. Type it. Whisper it. Let it interrupt the mental loop that has kept you trapped. Because healing isn't just about letting go of people. It's about letting go of the labels they left on you. You were never too much. They were not equipped. You were never not enough. The very fighter, they were unwilling to grow. The lies were never about your truth. They were about their limitations. And now heaven is saying, it's time to return to yourself. Not the wounded version, not the edited one, not the exhausted survival shell, but the one who knows deep down, I was created for more than this. You are not hard to love. You are just no longer available for counterfeit love. You are not broken. You are just in the middle of becoming whole. You are not invisible. You are being revealed, one healed moment at a time. Let me speak heaven's truth over you now. You are the light the enemy tried to dim. You are the truth he tried to twist. You are the soul he tried to shame, because he knew if you ever remembered who you really are, you would break every cycle that once tried to break you. And that's exactly what's happening now. The veil is lifting. The lie is being shattered. The false identity is being stripped away. And what's underneath is glorious. You're not becoming worthy. You always were. You're just finally seeing it. So breathe. Let it sink in. This is your identity correction. This is heaven pulling you out of emotional prison. This is the moment when you return to the mirror and say, I forgive myself for believing what was never true. I release the pain that taught me lies. I welcome the truth of who I really am. The Deshans, my nexted wove, Evertegs, and I, Michael, declare over your life. The lies will no longer echo louder than the promise. The silence of others will no longer speak louder than the voice of God. You are loved in full volume. You are affirmed in heaven's language. You are whole not in spite of your story, but because of what you survived. So let's break what was never meant to stay. Let's cut the ties to shame. Let's cast out every lingering shadow. Let's evict every voice that does not align with heaven's truth. The lie was loud, but the truth is louder. And the truth is this: you are free. You are healing. You are glowing. You are walking into rooms differently. And it's not pride, it's remembrance. The war over your identity was intense, because your purpose is immense. And now, beloved, you're ready to hear what that purpose is. Let your heart stay open, because next heaven will whisper why your pain was connected to your greatest assignment. Heaven never wastes pain. Every scar on your soul has been recorded for a reason. Not one tear has gone unnoticed. Not one night of anguish was missed. Not one heartbreak, betrayal, or silent breakdown was overlooked by the eyes of God. You didn't just suffer, you were being shaped. I, Archangel Michael, have come to tell you something sacred. Your pain was not punishment. It was preparation. Psalm 56:8 declares, You have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? Heaven has tracked every cry, every shaking breath, every unanswered question. You are not being ignored. You are being unfolded. And today, heaven speaks truth into your suffering. This is not just pain, it's proof. Proof that something deep is rising from within you. Proof that your purpose is too powerful to be born without fire. Because your greatest sorrow is tied to your greatest calling. You were not chosen because of perfection. You were chosen because of how you respond to pain. Not by fighting it, but by surrendering to the refining work of God inside it. And now, beloved, the pattern is becoming visible. Each loss, it was an unlocking. Each betrayal, it broke the chain of false identity. Each delay, it redirected your destiny away from counterfeit paths. What the enemy tried to break you with, heaven used to build you into someone unstoppable. You are not just surviving, you are rising. And not rising with bitterness, but with scars that shine. Scars that speak of where you've been, but no longer define who you are. Can you feel it? That fire in your chest? That stirring in your belly? That quiet voice in your soul saying, "This pain has meaning." That is your spirit recognizing what heaven is doing right now. You are being turned inside out, not to harm you, but to reveal the gold inside you. Because sometimes, purpose hides in the ache. Sometimes, calling is concealed beneath the collapse. Sometimes, what felt like an ending was actually the sound of heaven beginning again in you. Let me say it plainly. You are not just in pain, you are being positioned. You thought the loss was the last word, but it was just the doorway. You thought the rejection ended the story, but it was the divine rerouting towards something higher. You thought the collapse was your failure, but heaven saw it as your release. I have seen how you tried to hold it all together. I've stood watch as you cried and said, "God, I don't know how much more I can take." And heaven whispered back, "You're closer than you think." And you are. Because even as the tears fell, a shift began. Even as your heart broke, divine reversal began unfolding behind the scenes. Things are already changing. Conversations are happening that you don't know about. Doors are unlocking where you once heard only silence. And what was once pain is turning into power. You will speak healing over the very things that once made you weep. You will carry peace into the rooms where you once bled silently. You will stand strong in places where you once stumbled. And your voice will carry authority because it came through the fire. This is not just pain. This is heaven's signal that something sacred is being birthed through you. So I need you to hear this, and I need you to believe it. You have not been forgotten. You've been formed. God is not ignoring your cries. He's using them. He is building a voice in you that speaks truth, a presence that carries peace, a testimony that touches the broken and says, "Me too, and look, I survived. So will you." Say it now. Say it with me. This pain is not the end of me. This pain is proof that I have purpose. Say it again. Let it echo in your soul. Say it until the lies begin to crumble. Say it until your heart begins to lift. You are not cursed. You are called. And everything that was meant to destroy you has only made you more ready. So lift your head. Wipe your face. This is not defeat, it's transition. The old version of you would have stayed stuck in the ache, but the new you, the healed you, you are going to rise. You are going to build. You are going to speak. You are going to walk through doors that pain prepared you for, because you're not going back. The pain ends here. The purpose begins here. And heaven is celebrating the moment you choose to believe it. If this resonates with your spirit, say it aloud. I receive my healing. He's a cry. Type it in the comments if you're ready. I receive my healing. And share this with someone else, still waiting for their moment of clarity. Let your breakthrough become someone else's light. Because your purpose was never just about you. It's about what you carry. It's about the lives you'll touch. It's about the generational healing that will begin with your yes. You are walking out of this pain, and you are not walking out empty-handed. You are walking out anointed, strengthened, trusted by heaven, and ready. Let your heart stay open, because next heaven will reveal the day it all began to shift. And why that moment still matters now. There was a moment you've probably forgotten or tried to. It didn't come with a trumpet or lightning from the sky. It came quietly, in the form of loss, or betrayal, or eerie silence. Maybe someone left you, maybe something shattered, maybe the words you needed to hear never came. But heaven remembers, and I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to say, it was the day everything shifted. You didn't see it. You couldn't have. You were too busy surviving it. But in the spirit realm, the moment that tried to break you was the very moment heaven began building you. Genesis 50:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." The sections pause. What have they raging rupace? What the enemy tried to use to bury you, God used to begin you. Yes, beloved, that moment was not a curse. It was a pivot point, a spiritual activation disguised as heartbreak, a door opening under the cover of darkness. Heaven marked it. And so did I. You didn't know it then, but I, Michael, stood at the edge of your pain and drew a line in the spirit. From that moment forward, your path would be protected differently, watched differently, fought for differently, because you weren't just grieving, you were crossing over, into calling, into clarity, into a version of yourself that could not exist unless that moment occurred. It might have been the night you felt utterly alone, or the season when nothing made sense, or the betrayal that blindsided you. But I say to you now with the authority of heaven, you didn't see it, but I recorded it as the day you stepped into destiny. You weren't collapsing, you were being shifted. That relationship ending? It shook you, yes, but it also broke an old identity you were never meant to carry. That death that gutted you? It left a scar, yes, but it also released a generational anointing that was locked behind grief. That silence from the one who said they'd always stay? It stung, yes, but it also created a sacred silence where God finally had room to speak. And now, heaven is connecting the dots. You've looked at your life and wondered, why did that happen? Why then? Why them? Why me? And now heaven is whispering back, because that was the turning point. That moment is when your prayers started shifting from surface to surrender. That's when your spirit started asking deeper questions. That's when your eyes, though blurry with tears, started seeing differently. You were changing, and you didn't even know it. Beloved, your breakthrough didn't begin with a miracle. It began with a moment of breaking, the kind that heaven watches with holy reverence, the kind that rewrites timelines, the kind that unlocks the version of you who no longer bows to confusion, but walks with clarity. It wasn't just a bad day. It was a battlefield in the spirit. And guess what? You didn't lose. Because you're still here, still breathing, still seeking God, even after all of that, still pressing play on prophetic messages when others would have turned their heart cold. That is proof that the shift worked. That moment didn't take you out. It took you through. And now, heaven is ready for your eyes to open, because what's been happening quietly is about to surface loudly. The spiritual momentum that began on that day is about to break into the natural. Things are going to start moving, and it will feel like sudden acceleration. But know this: it's been building for a long time, and heaven is not rushing, it's revealing. So what do you do now? You remember. You go back not to the pain, but to the purpose. Not to the wound, but to the wisdom hidden inside it. You stand over that memory, and you say, "That was the day I shifted. That was the day heaven recorded my yes, even when I didn't know I was giving one." You're not looking back in regret. You're looking back in recognition, to see what heaven saw, to remember what your soul knows, to reclaim what pain tried to erase. That shift is why the enemy has been fighting you so hard since. It's why certain patterns have tried to reattach. It's why emotional warfare intensified right when you tried to get still, because he knows what's already begun. And he's terrified of the moment you remember it. But today you remember. You remember that the darkest moment didn't swallow you. It sparked you. You remember that you were never abandoned. You were being rerouted. You remember that grief didn't disqualify you. It refined you. And now that you've remembered, you must be ready. Because heaven is about to dig deeper. And what's next isn't just about a moment. It's about a bloodline. You've broken through some things. But now it's time to uncover what was buried before you even arrived. This next revelation isn't about what happened to you. It's about what tried to run through your family, and why you were the one chosen to break it. Let your heart stay open, because next, we're going to talk about what was buried in your bloodline, and why it ends with you. You weren't cursed, you were commissioned. You weren't overlooked, you were assigned. You weren't born into that family by accident. You were planted there, by heaven's hand, with a mission written into your DNA. You are the bloodline breaker. And this is why the battle has been so intense. Because it didn't start with you, but it's going to end with you. I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to reveal what you've long suspected but couldn't name. The patterns you've faced, the fear, the rejection, the poverty, the emotional chaos. They didn't begin in your lifetime. They were handed down, like spiritual inheritance. Not in blessing but in burden. But God, Exodus 20:6 says, "Showing mercy to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments." Mercy flows through generations just like curses can, and mercy has now reached you. This battle didn't start with you, but heaven decided it ends with you. Yes, the anxiety that never made sense. Yes, the abandonment that repeats itself in relationships. Yes, the way fear whispers when you try to rest. Yes, the shame that clings when you succeed, making you feel like you're still not safe. Those were never yours. They were assigned to your family line generations ago, through trauma, through betrayal, through silence, through pain that was never healed, only passed down. But you were chosen to interrupt it, to feel it fully, to face it directly, and to finally break it. You may have asked, why me? Why did I grow up in dysfunction? Why was I born into this story? Why did no one protect me? And heaven answers with love and fire. Because you were strong enough to break what others only survived. You are the interruption. The one who loves differently, thinks differently, prays differently, raises your children differently, walks with God differently. And even when you stumble, you get back up with more authority, because your fall isn't just about you. It's about the chain reaction of healing you were born to start. The enemy didn't attack you so viciously because you were weak. He attacked you because you were the key. And what tried to destroy you will now fear your name, because your prayers aren't just echoes into the air. They are strikes in the spirit. They are shattering agreements made by generations who didn't know how to fight. Your no more is heaven's thunder, your surrender is a shift. You were never just fighting for yourself. You've been fighting for your bloodline. And even when you didn't know it, heaven saw you praying through legacies of pain, undoing what pride, addiction, rage, and generational trauma tried to make permanent. I know it's been exhausting. I know there were moments you said, "I can't do this." But you didn't quit, and that alone shook the spiritual realm. I need you to understand. Your healing covers more than just you. It covers your children, and your children's children. It covers your siblings. It covers the future marriages and ministries, and dreams of your descendants. You are building a new normal, one surrendered to God, one rooted in truth, one protected by light. Your yes to healing is heaven's yes to redemption. Your "I forgive" has more weight than you know. Your "I will not repeat what hurt me" is louder than you think. Because every time you speak healing, something that once spoke destruction gets silenced. Every time you choose peace over reaction, the pattern weakens. Every time you stay when you used to run, or rest when you used to strive, or worship when you used to worry, you win another battle. Say this with me: it ends with me. It heals through me. Say it again, until your soul stands taller. Say it until the shame can't breathe anymore. Say it until hell hears you. Say it until heaven roars back. Because you, beloved, are no longer just surviving trauma. You are transforming your family story. From cycles to covenant, from pain to power, from bondage to blessing. And no, they may not understand you. They may still see the version of you they remember from the past. They may mock your boundaries. They may question your silence. They may not support your healing journey. But that's okay, because you weren't sent to blend in. You were sent to break through. You were sent to rewrite the atmosphere of your family. And heaven is backing you. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to go numb. This is not the time to return to familiar dysfunction just because it's comfortable. This is the moment to press in, because the chain is snapping, the curse is crumbling, and you are standing where no one else in your bloodline could. You are not fighting alone. I, Michael, stand with you. I stand guard over your house, your children, your mind, your decisions. Every day you choose healing, I fight on your behalf. Every time you rise after falling, heaven records it. Every tear you cry in silence, God bottles it. Every quiet decision you make to do better, speak softer, walk away, or forgive, all of it is warfare. You are the answer to someone's prayer generations ago, and your obedience is a prophecy for those yet to be born. You're not just chosen, you're trusted. And now, the blessing is expanding. Mercy is running through your line like water. Healing is waking up the ones you're connected to. Restoration is breaking out where destruction once reigned. Say it again: it ends with me. It heals through me. You are no longer repeating what hurt you. You are releasing what heaven gave you. Your name is being written differently in the Spirit. Not as the wounded one, but as the warrior who remembered who they were. And now that you've taken your stand, heaven wants to reveal the signs, the whispers, the dreams, the strange little moments that weren't coincidence at all. Let your heart stay open, because next, we'll uncover the signs you missed, the ones heaven has been sending all along. That dream, that number, that strange conversation, that moment when something stirred inside you, but you brushed it off. Beloved, it wasn't random. It was heaven. It was me. I, Archangel Michael, have been trying to reach you, and heaven has been speaking in the background of your life, waiting for your spirit to pause and pay attention. You weren't blind. You were becoming. And now, your eyes are opening. Matthew 13:16 says, "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." There's a blessing in awareness. And this is the season where your spiritual vision sharpens, where the confusion begins to fade, where the signs that once felt meaningless now point directly to purpose. You've been asking God for a sign, but the truth is, you've already been receiving them. The problem wasn't God's silence. It was the volume of your circumstances. Pain can be loud, fear can be blinding, but now that you're still, heaven can remind you, the signs were always there. Do you remember the nights you couldn't sleep? When your body was tired but your spirit wouldn't rest? That wasn't insomnia, that was an alarm in the spirit. Do you remember the song that played over and over again? And every time it came on, your heart felt something move? That wasn't a coincidence. That was heaven layering a message across your days. Do you remember the numbers that kept repeating? The time you kept seeing 333, or 1111, or 444? Those weren't just digital patterns. They were spiritual nudges. Look again. Pay attention. You're not alone. There were dreams, some vivid, some bizarre, some you brushed off. But your spirit didn't forget. And today, heaven is reactivating those memories. You saw someone in a dream who hasn't spoken to you in years. You walked through a house you didn't recognize. You heard a name whispered as you woke up. All of it was speaking. All of it was signaling. All of it was calling your attention to what heaven was setting up. You weren't missing the signs. You were being prepared to understand them, because signs mean nothing without interpretation. And this is the season of understanding. Some of the emotions you've carried weren't just yours. They were connected to someone you were spiritually assigned to pray for. You felt a sudden heaviness, not because you were broken, but because someone else connected to your destiny was crying out, and heaven trusted your sensitivity to feel it. You didn't imagine it. The stirring, the shifts, the sudden peace, the moment of clarity that lasted only seconds but left a permanent mark. You've been more connected to heaven than you realized. And now, it's time to stop second-guessing your discernment. You're not overthinking. You're awakening. There was a moment, maybe several, where you felt goosebumps with no explanation. When your breath caught in your chest. When you heard a phrase and it echoed like it had been spoken directly to you. That's because it was. Heaven has been calling your name through the natural, through strangers, through lyrics, through timing, through the placement of a book, a phone call, a delay that led you exactly where you needed to be. It wasn't luck, it was alignment. Even the people who came into your life for a short season, they were signs. Some were divine assignments. Some were spiritual tests. Some were sent to teach you how to recognize what love is and what it is not. You weren't crazy. You weren't too sensitive. You were in tune and didn't even know it. That's how heaven works sometimes. It hides revelation in the mundane until your spirit is mature enough to see it clearly. And now, you're ready. You're ready to reinterpret, to look back and see the pattern, to understand the path, to discern the difference between a distraction and a divine interruption. Let me say this clearly. You didn't miss the sign. You simply didn't know what it meant yet. But now, the veil is lifting. This is the moment where heaven takes the ordinary and turns it into confirmation, where that one sentence someone spoke over coffee becomes a prophetic echo, where that detour you hated becomes the place where God hid your next connection, where that closed door becomes the altar where you finally laid down the need for control. I have stood beside you while you wondered, was that from God? And now, I whisper, yes, He's been there, in all of it, waiting for you to see with new eyes. You weren't blind. You were becoming. And now, you're beholding. So what do you do with this revelation? You stop brushing things off. You start paying attention. When your spirit stirs, you pause. When your heart leaps at a sentence, you write it down. When something in a moment feels too on time, you ask, Lord, is this you? Because this is the era of clarity. This is the season of precision. And heaven isn't just talking, it's training you to listen differently. From this day forward, your eyes will see clearer than they ever have. Not because God is speaking more, but because your spirit is finally still enough to catch it. Say this with me now. I am not missing the signs. I am receiving the revelation. My eyes are blessed to see. My ears are blessed to hear. I receive heaven's whispers. If this resonates, type it in the comments. I receive the revelation. They had two Esters. And if someone you love is still struggling to recognize what heaven is saying, share this with them. Let the signs speak louder, because heaven never stopped speaking. It's just that now, you're listening differently, and now that your eyes are open, you'll start seeing what's always been there. Not just for you, but for your family, your future, your purpose. Let your heart stay open, because next, heaven will show you why the enemy tried so hard to stop your progress, and why your destiny cannot be undone by what they did to you. They lied. They walked away. They betrayed you when you were at your most vulnerable. But listen carefully now. They did not stop your calling. They did not cancel your anointing. They did not delay your destiny. Beloved, heaven is speaking through Archangel Michael today with a bold prophetic word. What they meant to stop God is about to use to launch you. Isaiah 54:17 reminds you, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. They formed the weapon, but it won't prosper. They whispered the judgment, but it won't define you. They tried to bury you in shame, silence, and confusion, but all they did was position you for a comeback they can't stop. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are being set up. Heaven has not missed a single moment of the injustice. Not one tear, not one false accusation, not one silent rejection has gone unnoticed. Every betrayal is now fuel. Every setback is now spiritual leverage. You are being lifted. Archangel Michael declares from heaven's throne, what was meant to delay you will now accelerate you. Yes, they hurt you, but the pain did not remove the oil. The anointing on your life is not dependent on other people's behavior. It's sealed by God. It's guarded by the blood. And it's now activated by your endurance. This is where the enemy miscalculated. He thought pain would paralyze you, but instead, it provoked you into purpose. They thought you'd break down, but you're breaking through, because what's inside of you cannot be touched by betrayal. Their silence didn't silence your destiny. Their absence didn't delay your arrival. Their opinions didn't rewrite your identity. You are still chosen. You are still called. You are still covered. Let this be the moment where the lies lose their grip. Let this be the day your head lifts, your heart steadies, and your feet move again. The betrayal was not the end. It was the beginning of your rerouting. Heaven restructured your journey not because you failed, but because they could not follow. You cried over what you lost, but if you only knew what heaven is preparing, you'd praise God for every door that's shut, because the people who walked away weren't assigned to your next level. The relationship that collapsed wasn't strong enough to carry your oil. The opportunity that slipped through your fingers was a decoy to distract you from your real assignment. Listen closely. You are stepping into something they cannot block. The next move is protected. The next door is guarded. The next season is angel-assigned and divinely timed. Michael stands at the gate not just of your heart, but of your future. Heaven has already dispatched divine reinforcements to secure your steps. You thought you were behind. But God says, you're not late, you're right on schedule. They slowed you down, yes, but they didn't steal your momentum. Delay is not denial, it's divine alignment. Every injustice is now being repurposed. Every wrong word is being overturned. Every painful moment is becoming part of a prophetic storyline the enemy never saw coming. They planned a detour. God planned a demonstration. Of what? Of His power, of your resilience, of how heaven backs the one who stays faithful in the fire. Say this out loud, even if your voice shakes. I am not behind, I am ahead in God's timing. I am protected. I am anointed. I am still rising. There is oil on your life, and oil flows under pressure. So if you've been pressed lately, it's because something powerful is about to pour out of you. Your destiny is not in their hands. It's not in your past. It's not in their approval. It's in God's hands. And the same God who began this good work in you, He is faithful to complete it. Not halfway healed, not halfway restored, but fully restored, anointed, advanced, unstoppable. This is not a motivational message. This is a divine memo from heaven. The enemy lost the moment he underestimated your endurance. You didn't give up. You didn't cave in. You didn't retaliate. You waited, and now God is about to vindicate. What you thought would take years, God can do in days. Your name is rising. Your assignment is unlocking. Your angels are already moving. So walk forward, not timidly, not fearfully, but boldly knowing you are moving under heaven's protection. Say it with me now. I'm moving forward in protection. I'm covered, I'm chosen, and I will not be stopped. If this word confirms what your spirit already knew, comment below. I'm moving forward in protection. And if you know someone who's been stuck in the pain of betrayal, share this with them. Let them hear what the enemy hoped they'd never find out. Destiny cannot be destroyed by human decisions. Anointing cannot be stolen by lies. And divine protection always arrives before the next promotion. Beloved, they didn't see the future God showed you. They didn't understand your oil. They didn't recognize your assignment. But heaven always did. And that's all that matters. So go ahead. Take the next step. Move forward. Let the past echo behind you as your future unfolds in front of you. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not disqualified. You are divinely positioned. And Archangel Michael is already going before you, clearing the path, guarding the gates, and declaring over you, no weapon formed against this one shall prosper. This is your comeback. This is your confirmation. This is your covering. And nothing they did can stop what God is doing next. The enemy tried. He tried to crush you, tried to confuse you, tried to bury you in shame, delay, and silence. But he failed. Because there was something in you, something heaven placed, heaven guarded, and heaven sealed, that he could not touch. The enemy touched the surface, but the treasure was buried deeper than his reach. As it is written in 2 Corinthians 4-7, we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. This is your reminder. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not broken beyond use. You are broken open to reveal the glory of what's been hidden inside you all along. Even in the trauma, even through the betrayal, even when you forgot who you were, God never lost sight of what He hid in you. There is a treasure in you, and the enemy couldn't touch it. Not because he didn't try, but because heaven covered it. Archangel Michael speaks now. The devil launched every arrow he could find. But he still missed the mark because the mark was buried under divine protection. What you thought was destroyed, what you thought was too damaged to ever be useful again, was actually being guarded. Your strength, hidden in surrender. Your voice, hidden in the silence. Your calling, hidden beneath the ashes of disappointment. But now, it's being revealed. What the enemy hoped you'd never realize is that the most powerful thing about you was never your performance. It was always your resilience. You survived what others didn't. You stood when the shaking should have taken you out. You still believed when belief cost everything. That was the weapon. That was the treasure. The enemy couldn't cancel the oil. He couldn't crush the seal, because the seal was placed by God. And what God seals, hell cannot unseal. This is the turning point, where the hidden weapon comes into the light. Not a sword you swing with your hands, but a fire you carry in your soul. Your worship in the middle of sorrow, that was your weapon. Your decision to love again after heartbreak, that was your weapon. Your refusal to give up, to grow bitter, to become like the ones who hurt you, that was your weapon. Archangel Michael declares, the very part they tried to crush is now rising in power. They couldn't break your spirit. They couldn't steal your oil, because what was hidden in you was God's answer to the darkness you've walked through. You are a carrier not of pain, but of power. You are a vessel not of shame, but of glory. You are a deliverer not just for yourself, but for others trapped in the same patterns. The treasure inside you was never meant to stay buried. It was meant to survive the fire, so that when you rise, you carry heaven's response to the very battle that tried to take you out. You didn't just endure for yourself, you endured for the generation you're going to reach. You endured for the family that's going to be freed. You endured because you were marked as a vessel of divine strategy. And now, you're stepping into visibility. The part of you that kept praying when no one understood, it's about to speak. The part of you that held the line in intercession, it's about to release others. The fire that stayed alive in you, even when the winds blew hard, it's about to light up every room you walk into. You are not a victim, you are a vault of strategies, strength, wisdom, and fire that only pressure could unlock. Heaven hid something in you that's about to shift atmospheres. You were the secret weapon, not because you were loud, but because you were faithful in silence. Say it now. The enemy couldn't touch what God hid in me. Say it again until it breaks through the last lie. The enemy couldn't touch what God sealed. This moment is more than affirmation, it's activation. The treasure is rising, the seal is breaking open. Not to harm you, but to release what's been guarded for such a time as this. Now that you know what was protected, you're ready to be released. Not timid, not hiding, but bold, radiant, confident in what survived. Michael speaks again. Go forward, not as one who barely made it, but as one who is carrying the victory already won. The storm didn't take it. The trauma didn't erase it. The betrayal didn't silence it. Because heaven hid it. And now heaven is revealing it. Your hidden weapon, your worship, your words, your wounds, all of it is being redeemed for revival. So don't hide anymore. Don't downplay what you carry. Don't question why the warfare was so intense. It's because of what survived. You are a walking testimony, a living altar, a sealed vessel, and today, heaven is unlocking you. Let the world see what God protected. Let the enemy tremble over what he couldn't touch. Let your life become the answer to the pain you thought would destroy you. If this word confirms something deep in your spirit, comment below. The enemy couldn't touch what God hid in me. And if you know someone who's forgotten their worth, forgotten the treasure, forgotten what still lives inside them, share this. Let this be their reminder. They are still sealed, still chosen, still a weapon in the hand of heaven. And as for you, it's time to be released. The treasure is rising, and the enemy can do nothing to stop it. You can breathe now. You've made it to the end of this moment, and heaven has one final message for your heart tonight. You are covered, you are healing, and the protection is sealed. Let every anxious thought settle under the weight of those words. Let every battle in your body and storm in your spirit feel the calm of that truth. Psalm 121:8 says, "The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore." That means you are not alone in this moment, and you will not be alone in the moments that follow. Even while you sleep, even when you don't know what to pray, even when you're too tired to fight, heaven is still watching over you. The Lord has stationed angels around your bed. The presence of God has hovered like a blanket over your home, and Archangel Michael himself bows in honor of your endurance. You've been through what would have broken others. You kept showing up bloodied in spirit, bruised in hope, but you didn't let go. You didn't let the darkness win. And heaven noticed. Michael speaks now. This was never just a prayer. It was a divine appointment. In the stillness of this night, something eternal has been written. The pain you brought into this space has not returned with you. It was exchanged for peace, healing, and divine covering. Let that settle deep into your heart. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are seen. You are loved. You are sealed. There is now a heavenly seal placed over your mind. No more torment. No more mental spiraling. No more rehearsing the shame of yesterday. There is a seal over your heart. Where the wound once lived, there is now warmth, peace, a quiet assurance that you are being restored. There is a seal over your body. Healing is flowing, even in ways you can't see yet. The fatigue, the ache, the tightness in your chest, it's being lifted. You're entering a sacred stillness where your body is not under attack, but under grace. And there is a seal over your family and your future. This protection goes beyond you. It covers your children. It covers your bloodline. It covers the generations you'll never meet, but are already blessed because of your faithfulness tonight. Heaven has marked you, and what is marked cannot be missed. Tonight was not just a video, not just another prayer, not just a nice message. It was heaven's reminder that this space is a sanctuary, a place where you are always welcome to come back to breathe, to release, to be reminded again and again, you are covered, you are healing, you are not alone. So, rest now, let your shoulders fall, let your heart slow down, let the weight of the day roll off your spirit. This is where peace tucks you in and angels stand guard. This is where you trade chaos for comfort, where your name is whispered in heaven with tenderness, where your tears are not wasted but collected in the palm of a faithful God. Say it softly, even if it's just a whisper from your soul. I am covered, I am healing, I am not alone. This is your exhale, this is your peace. Archangel Michael watches over your night. The Lord of hosts walks with you into the morning, and the Holy Spirit sings over your sleep with lullabies of protection and promise. From this night forward, you are not walking into battle uncovered. You are not entering another day in confusion. You are walking forward sealed, healed, marked, restored, and ready. If you've felt alone, if you've felt like your prayers went unheard, let this be the moment your spirit realizes heaven has never left your side. Even now, you're not hearing this by accident. Something deeper has awakened, something sacred has settled, and you are being wrapped in rest. So tonight, release the fear, release the pressure, release the guilt. You are covered. Let peace grow, one breath at a time. Let healing unfold, one night at a time. Let grace meet you again, morning by morning. And when tomorrow feels heavy again, come back here. Let this space be your altar, your refuge, your reminder. Come back tomorrow, heaven whispers. Let peace grow. This is not the end. This is the beginning of restoration. This is your safe place. This is your sanctuary. And you, beloved child of God, you are covered. The healing is sealed, and you are never alone.